Hello there and welcome in this video tutorial where I will be covering how you can land an A-18E on a carrier deck in Arma 3. Now first of all I'd like to mention that I am not a professional pilot, so do not use this guide in real life. If you are able to steal an A-18E, that is, of course. I'm recording this video using the NVIDIA GeForce Experience in-game overlay, and editing is done with the Microsoft Clipchamp together with ScreenPresso for some images. For flying, I use the Honeycomb Alpha Yoke with the Honeycomb Bravo Throttle Quadrant and the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 Rudder pedals. All this on a OMEN gaming laptop, of which the specs will be in the description. I am an active member in the GLID JTFV community and mostly hang out as a Falcon unit. If you want to engage in realistic military combat environment with support from real-life military personnel, be sure to check out the information provided in the description. For now, let's get up in the air and start the tutorial. The first thing I want you to learn is how to read and use the HUD properly. The most important thing on your HUD is the flight path vector, or FPV. This basically tells you that if your flight conditions remain the same, this is where your plane will end up. In the current situation, that would mean ditching the plane in the sea. On the top side of the HUD you can see your heading indicator, while the arrow on the bottom is the bank indicator. On the top left you can see the speed indicated in knots, while on the top right you can see the current altitude, accompanied by the vertical speed right above that. In ideal circumstances, you want your speed to be in between 140 and 160 knots, while your vertical speed should be somewhere between -1000 and -1500. Now, the carrier deck has a couple of arresting wires which your tailhook needs to grab in order to slow down and land safely. During landing, you want your FPV to be right on top of one of the center arresting wires. In this example, you can see the FPV is on one of the center wires, but the speed is too high and the vertical speed is too low. We're coming in too shallow and will probably crash on the carrier. That's why I'm going to go around for now. Now for the second approach, I'm going to come in with both the speed and vertical speed that are too high. I'm coming in too steep, so I'll have to go around again. On the third landing, both my speed and vertical speed are going to be within the right margins. There is, however, one important thing you have to execute to perform a good landing, and that is a flare. A flare is what is done just before touchdown, where the pilot idles the throttle and pulls back slightly on the stick. This way, the rear landing gear will come down first, which will make sure the tailhook grabs on the arresting wires. In this landing, however, I flared just a little late, which makes me have to pull much harder. In normal circumstances, you should idle first and then pull back just a little bit to make it work. Now watch how I fly this approach and constantly need to make small adjustments in order to have all parameters in the right area just before landing. Here is another landing in OK circumstances. The FPV is on the arresting wires and both the speed and vertical speed are OK. Don't forget to flare and put it down nicely on the deck. Let's get back in the air for another approach and landing. Here's an example of a landing where my speed and vertical speed are on the high side, which, if you listen carefully, makes the plane grab the wires first before the landing gear touches down. Not an ideal landing. I'm going to let you watch the final approach. Try keeping an eye on the corrections I make in terms of speed and vertical speed, and how I use those together with my pitch to move my FPV in the right position. I'm going to pause just before landing so you can see all the parameters again.
Pull up, pull up.
Alright, thank you for watching and be sure to let me know in the comments if this was helpful in any way. Hope to see you guys around in the GLID JTFV servers. Bye!